Headquartered in Lansing, Triterra has been creating healthier communities throughout Michigan since 2008. Their expertise in brownfield development, environmental consulting, and natural resource management needs provides practical solutions for developers, property owners, and governmental entities. For responsive service tailored to your best interests, call the Triterra team at 517-702-0470 or visit triterra.us. Welcome to the Conversations from Mackinac series of Michigan Reimagined with Chris Buck, live from the Grand Hotel at the 2026 Policy Conference. This special session is generously sponsored by Triterra and the Gillespie Group. I am now here with Andi Crawford, the Chief Revenue Officer from Next Street. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Great to be here.
Absolutely. So Next Street, talk a little bit about what your mission is. What does your brand do?
Yeah, so Next Street, we just celebrated our 20th anniversary. We are a firm that focuses on helping corporations, governments, and philanthropies to build the small businesses in their supply chains or in their communities, and we do that work all around the country.
Wow. Okay, got it. But you're Michigan-based. I
am Michigan-based through and through. I'm the only Next Streeter that lives in Michigan.
Okay.
Trying to recruit many more. We have a tremendous value prop, and I keep putting it out there for my colleagues.
Right.
But we're based around the country, and our headquarters are in New York. We also have a brick and mortar in Chicago, but we have folks that live in, I believe, about 13 to 15 states as we continue to work more around the country. But I'm definitely Michigan-based.
Well, I can tell you, I mean, our startup ecosystem, small business infrastructure, and then supply chain in Michigan is as robust. I'll put that up. For all the shortcomings maybe we have that we're discussing here at the policy conference, those things I'll put up against any state in the nation. So
That's right.
I think leaning into that and you being the bastion of that message is probably the perfect thing ever. I've known you for a while. I know the different roles that you've played, and your network is extensive. So I was really glad to bump into you here. I'm glad you're able to share the mic with me for a little bit. So exactly who do you engage with, and what is what are you telling them that you want them to do?
Well, we certainly do different types of projects around the country. For example, we run Verizon's Small Business Digital Readiness Program. So for corporations, we will do programs to help their small business customers. We do that for financial institutions. We have lots of banks that do that with us. But here in Michigan, we have a project with the state of Michigan.
Okay.
And the goal is to, this project was first funded through the Kresge Foundation.
Okay.
It was then scaled through the Gates Foundation, and looking to be sustained through state of Michigan as it moves forward, as it's been proved out. But what we do is run what's called the My Hub for Manufacturers. Of course, here in Michigan, we name everything MI. So you can go to myhubformanufacturers.com.
Okay.
The user for that are small and medium-sized manufacturers across the state. It's free for them to use. The goal is to take all of the resources that are available to small and medium-sized manufacturers, put them on one single platform, and allow that small business to be quickly directed to the resource they need. Not just the organization that houses that resource, but directly to that resource, removing the friction from the process of that small business owner trying to find advice or courses to help them level up or pivot into new opportunities or pivot out of risk or the capital product they need to scale. So it's an infrastructure, digital infrastructure project, but also all of the coordinating of those partners across the state to centralize that information and help that small business find what they need, pivot out of risk, pivot into opportunity, maybe take that auto manufacturer supplier and get them into aerospace or shipbuilding or other opportunities, so that we preserve this asset, this tremendous asset we have in the state of our manufacturing might, make sure we don't lose that asset as the automotive industry changes, and then we position into growth opportunities.
Right. Okay. Got it. So it's kind of like the SBDC on steroids. I mean, like those are more entrepreneur, and they could be bakeries and they can be painting companies or whatever, but you're in supply chain manufacturing, but it is don't go out of business.
Yes.
We need you. If if you need professional services, if you need to, like you said, level up, if you need to have a ability to pivot from if EV batteries are no longer as sexy as they once were, but you can go into aerospace, you may not know that that's available to you, and it wouldn't take much for you to flip some switches to get you ready for the next industry that could use your services.
And the start of this project was really a supply chain mapping exercise, where the state of Michigan was looking to really understand where are our suppliers across the state, we all know that all of the OEMs have a robust supply chain map.
Right.
It is a closely guarded trade secret.
Right.
And they're not going to sit in the room with other OEMs and discuss that. So what do you do as the state when you're trying to say, okay, as the economy is changing, what are the small suppliers across the state that are at risk of dropping out of a supply chain?
Right.
And how do we, that $500,000 or $1 million revenue generating supplier that has 20 jobs in a rural county, that's an important asset.
No kidding.
Who may or may not know that they're at risk of losing that contract, right? And they don't have the lobbyists and the information at their fingertips. And, they're going from order to order without probably an opportunity to stop and go, what are the other opportunities we could take advantage? And so this was really, it started as an exercise in supply chain mapping for the public good, or what we would call place-based supply chain mapping, which is an unusual approach to supply chain mapping. It's not just from that buyer, that OEM, and their individual supply chain, but what does it look like? What is our asset of suppliers across the state, and how do we help them move into their next generation, hopefully, of success, either within automotive or in another high growth sector?
Got it. Okay. So are you exclusively targeting these downstream suppliers?
That's right. This is
so you're not communicating with the OEM?
We will communicate as much as we possibly can, because we want to know what do you need, right? Because if suppliers don't have a buyer at the end of that effort, this is all for naught, right? And so we want you to give us your specs, give us your requirements, tell us where the business is going, put grant programs in, to the system. What our goal is to build the infrastructure that all this runs on, and takes the friction out from suppliers to buyers, and from public dollars to those businesses, right? How do we create that centralized spot such that as the market changes, that we can move quicker? And that's the goal, is that economic transition in Michigan is a positive thing instead of a negative thing.
Right. Founded over 30 years ago, Gillespie Group is a full-service residential and commercial real estate firm based in Lansing, Michigan. With an eye to the future, Gillespie Group is fueled by strategic development with a passion to find creative solutions for real estate development needs. Known for the ability to visualize new energetic spaces that breathe life into spaces and community, Gillespie continues to use its resources to initiate the transformation within the communities it works in. Learn more at gillespie-group.com. Right. Okay. So now is Next Street, is it for-profit, nonprofit?
We are a certified B Corp, and so we have all the pressures of a for-profit firm and all of the mission pressures of a nonprofit organization.
Got it.
I wouldn't have it any other way. But this is, doing well by doing good. A certified B corporation who says there's a need in the marketplace, and we can meet that with a commercial product, but also mission-based organization.
Okay, I got to Google B Corp.
Yeah.
I don't even know what that is. I'm sorry. So
the most famous B Corp is, or there are many famous B Corps, like Patagonia, Newman's Own, right? Like these are B corporations that that have a mission, and it's a legal status. I mean, we have to apply and reapply for B Corp status each year in order to meet that certification.
Got it. And you talked about Kresge and you talked about Gates. Yeah. So is that your funding mechanism? Or?
So I'm the Chief Revenue Officer.
Right.
And so I do both types of fundraising, like the philanthropy you're talking about.
Yep.
We do have, because we align so closely with many of philanthropy's mission, especially around economic mobility, that we are successful in securing philanthropic investment. But we also sell direct to corporations and contract directly with governments, and those are those are all part of the revenue pie that helps us accomplish our goals.
Okay. All right. I'm getting there. I love these interviews because I learn. I'm asking questions just so I can learn, and hopefully it's interesting to the listeners because it's fascinating to hear all that. So it seems like everyone should be applauding the work you're doing.
Well, yes.
I mean, right? Certainly the suppliers that are maybe not necessarily struggling, but are at an inflection point.
Sure.
And then you have the people upstream that want to buy their products, and they're counting on these people, and then having competition, right?
Yep.
If there's 20,000 semiconductor suppliers versus 5,
Right.
maybe you drive prices down a little bit and all that kind of stuff. So like
Right.
it's just really part of the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, that's the goal, is to coordinate and build an infrastructure where folks can get what they need when they need it, and also we can bring new entrants into the picture. So in other states, for example, you mentioned semiconductors. We're doing a project in upstate New York and in Arizona. Both of those are semiconductor communities, and both of those communities are looking to find opportunities to capture more of the economic activity in that supply chain for their local communities. So
Yep.
obviously they've attracted these huge companies, Micron in upstate New York, TSMC and many others in Arizona. These huge fabs are going to get built. Those fabs come with their own supply chains often. They're
Right.
going to get
Yeah,
their supply
coattail
chain.
effect, right?
And the idea here is, how could the local firms that already exist in those communities pivot into those supply chains?
Yep.
And how do we keep more of those dollars locally at home? And there's so much money flowing into, there's public money topped off by private investment that's flowing into growth sectors across the country. And we started working on this several years ago when the big bills had been passed. These big investments were flowing, public money was flowing, it's being topped off by private capital. And all that money is going to move very fast. And when that money has to move fast, the incumbents, the big guys, are going to capture that economic activity, because Micron's going to get their supply chain, TSMC is going to get their supply chain, and the only people that can do that quickly are going to be big firms. And so this, once in a generation opportunity for wealth building is going to just keep accruing to the big guys.
Right.
But for some investment in supplier development. And so that's where we come in. How do we get small and medium-sized suppliers ready to compete? How do we do the supplier development programs necessary to get them contract ready?
Yep.
And in those two communities, that's what we're doing. So the project I laid out for you in the state of Michigan, that's a breadth play. That's everybody in. That's about coordinating a robust set of resources and broadly applying it across the state. We also do depth plays, and that's what I'm talking about in upstate New York and Arizona, where we take a cohort of kind of ready suppliers.
Yep.
And do a very deep
Make 'em
dive.
ready.
Yeah, very deep dive diagnostic. How ready are you to compete in this industry financially, from a capability standpoint, from a certification standpoint, all of those things, and then take them through a 6-month program with aggressive coaching, individualized, so not your standard cohorts that you hear about that are accelerators that are kind of like marketing on day 1 and accounting on day 2.
Business plan.
Yeah, business plan development. No, this is very much, where is your firm today, and how do we bring a really broad and deep set of resources to bear? And it's not easy, right? Like, it's a commitment on that business owner's part, even though it's a program that is free to them. It's not free when you're investing 6 to 10 hours of your team's time
Right.
every week over the course of several months.
You're counting on them being successful. At the end of that,
Absolutely.
Yeah,
At the end of that, they need to be contract ready to compete, and their business has to have fundamentally improved to the point that even if they don't ultimately land that contract with that buyer that we were designing it for, they are far more ready to compete in the marketplace as a supplier. And so that's what Next Street does, is we are industry agnostic, but we are opportunity focused. And so how do we get small businesses ready to compete and make sure that these kinds of once-in-a-generation wealth-building opportunities really get more people into play? And I would say, as a Michigander, more places into play. I want to pull that investment off the coasts.
Yep.
And make sure it lands in places like Michigan.
God bless you. Yeah, do it. That's great. All right, so you rattled off a website. I want to hear it again.
Yeah, it's myhubformanufacturers.com. So please check that out. Any small or medium-sized business can set up an account. It is free. It's quick to do, and all the resources are there that you can access. Capital opportunities, different grant programs from the state, lots of resources across the state. But again, the whole idea is to make it easy for that business owner to get quickly to the resource they need to help them accomplish their business goals.
Got it. Okay, and then Next Street. How can people learn more about Next Street?
Nextstreet.com. Come check us out. Love to see you there. And Next Street is is available to help corporations, governments, and philanthropies who want to build those small businesses in their supply chain or in their communities. We work in big cities. We work in statewide projects. We work with corporations. And then all of that is in service to the end user. So our clients, our businesses, corporations, and philanthropies, governments, corporations, and philanthropies. But our end user is that small business. So we think about both of those stakeholders as we try to make sure that small businesses can be successful and people can grow their wealth in this country.
Wonderful. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Remind us of the website for Next Street one more time.
NextStreet.com.
That's easy to do.
Come see us.
We've been talking to Andi Crawford, the Chief Revenue Officer from NextStreet.com. Doing awesome work, really trying to help our supply chain, small businesses thrive and generational wealth. We love all hearing about that.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, yep. And this is Chris Buck from Michigan Reimagined, signing off from the Mackinac Policy Conference with special generosity and to our sponsor from Triterra and the Gillespie Group. Thanks very much.